Great. Well, first of all, thank you all for having me, and thank you to the organizers. You've done such a stellar job. So, yeah. Great. See if this, all right. So I'm going to be talking today about good enough innovation, and hopefully by the end of the talk you'll know what I mean by that. I am the co-founder and chief social officer of Uncharted Play. It's a company that focuses on developing products that are both fun and functional. And again, hopefully you'll know what that means by the end of my talk today. So our flagship product is this ball, which is also a generator. And again, you'll know more about that by the end of my talk today. So the beginning of this story is in Africa. So we're all going to get on a plane together, and we're going to go over to Tanzania. And now we're there, and you can tell because there's a lion, so now we're all together with me and a lion in Africa. And this is where I did most of my work when I was a student. I focused basically on sub-Saharan Africa in very off-the-grid type places. This is a picture of a town called Galai. It's near the border of Tanzania and Kenya. It's about 4 hours from the nearest road. It's a Maasai encampment, and they certainly do not have electricity. What they do have, though, is a huge passion for soccer. And this is true of most communities around the world. Ironically, not so much in the US, where I'm from, but everywhere else, soccer is the most played, loved, watched sport, which makes it a great platform for advocacy, for learning, and, as we found out, for energy. That's just a picture of the World Cup, which I was lucky enough to attend, so just bragging rights there. The other thing I noticed when I was in sub-Saharan Africa is this endemic energy poverty. So even if there is electricity, it's either unreliable or unsafe. What people do is they turn to dangerous alternatives, such as, in this picture, as you can see, and this happens in India, I'm sure, fairly often, people illegally hook up into the electric lines, so you electrocute yourself. So this is just a picture of the world at night, which I think is really powerful, no pun intended. And you can see where the light is and where it isn't. The other dangerous alternative to energy is kerosene lamps, which is really harmful for your respiratory health. So you're either hooking into the landline and electrocuting yourself, or you're choking to death. So there are a lot of energy, along with the energy issues, there are a lot of health issues that dovetail with that, which is something that I think is not necessarily intuitive, but is true. So what we need is energy that is accessible, reliable, and safe. Oh, thank you. I'm not even at the heart of my talk yet. Anyway, so when I came back from Africa, I was a student at Harvard at the time, and I really wanted to address a lot of the issues that I had seen, and energy wasn't particularly standing out at that moment, but it soon emerged as the front runner. I was taking a class that was basically an engineering class for non-engineers, because I'm a liberal arts idiot. I'm not good at math. I need a calculator for everything, to calculate tip included. So that's me. But I was in this class, and it was about finding an idea and translating it, thinking about how you would execute it. So as part of a group of 4 girls, all non-engineers, and we were assigned the concept of developing a massively multiplayer online game. So basically they wanted us to use World of Warcraft to address a major issue, which was something that I was none too passionate about, mostly because we wanted our end user to be a child anywhere, not just a child with a computer. So we began brainstorming, and we came up with this awesome idea. Not the ball yet. We didn't get there yet. It was really great. We were totally psyched about it. And professor didn't like it so much. We failed the midterm. So where if you ever wonder where this idea for the ball came from, it came from the desperation to not fail a class. So my group locked ourselves in a room, and we decided that what we really needed to do was find something that already existed, because the major critique for our previous project that we thought rocked so hard, but didn't really, was that it didn't leverage existing behavior. It asked people to do something new instead of taking something that already happened. So we were thinking of all the things that are present in the kind of resource-poor context, and of course, soccer, football, was among those things. Also on that list were, Coca-Cola products, I guess advertising on homes, things like that that aren't necessarily intuitive, but are platforms for future innovation in a good enough context. So, what we came up with was the Soccket. We matched soccer with, something that exists with energy, which is something that was lacking. So rather than using a method that reminded people of something they lacked, rather we used a platform that reminded people of something that was joyful, that capitalized on play. So we have this ball that is an energy harnessing device, but it's really three things in one. It's a ball. Having something spherical that rolls more or less is a huge coup for a lot of kids around the world because they're playing with a bundle of plastic bags, they're playing with a shoe. So if it rolls a little to the left, it's a little off balance. If it's round and it rolls, it's a ball, and people are happy with that. The next thing is that it's an eco-friendly portable generator. What does that mean? It means it doesn't spit out fumes like the kerosene lamp. It means you're not going to electrocute yourself. And it also means that you can carry it around in its personal power. And what is personal power? It's empowering. It lets you take charge of your life, and it lets you control something that is normally outside your control. Further, it lets you think creatively about how to address problems in your own community in a way that is innovative and not necessarily inside the box. So so the proof of concept for our original ball. Okay, now it can come out. So this is one of our balls. And I'm just going to show you how it works. Basically. There we go. Can everybody see? More or less? All right. There we go. It's on. Great. Thank you. Yes. It's a very, very good spokesmodel there. Anyway, so I hope everybody gets an idea of what exactly we're talking about now. So our original concept was not quite as elegant. We took a hamster ball, if you can see there's a little hamster in there, and a shake-to-charge torch, so which basically the agitation is what causes the charge. We put the torch inside the hamster ball, we rolled it around, crossed our fingers, and hoped that something would happen. And lo and behold, there was enough movement for the light to turn on. So we knew that we had this proof of concept of something that could really work. And we took this to our engineering friends, and across Harvard campus, you would think there would be people that would want to jump on this bandwagon. And they almost universally said, no. Can't happen, won't happen, it's not enough. The problem was we all had very different definitions of what is enough. If you're living, in a mansion and you have everything that you could desire, enough would probably be to power, all of your devices plus an aircraft carrier. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about communities that need basic needs, that need light, that need to charge a cell phone, that need to meet these very critical, very daily activities. So our definition of enough, this is my favorite diagram. It's my hand diagram. I'm going to have to go like this because I have the mic. So this is nothing. All we needed was something. Anything above nothing was enough. So filling in that gap, trying to get people to understand and dream with us, was somewhat of a hard journey to go on, but eventually people started drinking our Kool-Aid. They started to see what we were talking about. And so we ended up having our next iteration, testing it. We brought it to South Africa. Now this picture does a fantastic job of concealing how incredibly ugly those balls were. We called them the Franken ball, because we literally just took a normal soccer ball and did the same thing as we did with the hamster ball, except we went to the sports store instead of the pet store, and we put another shake-to-charge flashlight inside. And the kids were so thrilled to play with it. They were so happy. Even before they knew that there was something special about it, you'd give them the ball, and then they'd run away, and you said, wait, we didn't even tell you what's special about it. And then you'd catch them 20 minutes later, and then you could show them what was different, and they were all, very pleased. So that's a great part of the work that we do. So just a couple more pictures of endearing children playing, just to win your hearts. And this is a picture of our next prototype, which, as you can tell, is a little bit prettier. We worked with a design team to come up with this one, but again, still using the shake to charge mechanism, still trying to get people to dream with us, which is a lot harder than you'd think. And then finally, we came up with this new version, which is the one that we just showed you. And this is on an entirely different mechanism. We're no longer using the shake to charge. We actually started investing and working with an engineering team rather than a design team to really think about how to harness as much energy as possible from the mechanical movement of this ball. What that means is, rather than shaking on just one axis with the shake to charge flashlight, this gyroscopic mechanism, that's me, the gyroscopic mechanism actually harnesses energy from all axes of motion. So we're harnessing a lot more than we were before. What's also exciting about this ball is it has a lot of other specifications that make it not only an improvement upon the prototype, but also an improvement in general, an improvement upon the ball as a concept. And what makes that so? One is that this ball does not deflate. Why is that important? Well, most kids, they don't have a ball, they probably don't have an air pump either. So the deflation aspect is an improvement. What else? Its lifespan, it's very durable. The ball actually has, rather than stitching together, it's paneling and it's glued down with super strength epoxy. What this means is, rather than lasting 1 to 2 months, which is the normal lifespan for a regular soccer ball, it lasts multiple years. So not only are you investing in this functionality of the energy, you're also investing in a long-term, long lifespan ball. So that could be a product in and of itself, but we decided to shoot for the stars. Anyway, the exchange rate on the energy is actually very high. It's about 30 minutes of regular play is about 3 hours of light, which means that the play that your child would be engaging in anyway is actually now doubling with this functionality. Then also, it's a little bit heavier than a normal ball. It's about a couple ounces heavier. I know that the pound-ounce conversion is tricky for some, for me in particular, since again, I'm not an engineer. And then water resistance, 95% recyclable. It was really important to us that it's an eco-friendly ball, not only in its function, but also in its life cycle. And finally, this ball can be mass-produced. This is something that we can do at the hundreds of thousands of scale rather than at the 1-by-1 scale, because previous models were all built by hand. I have all the scratches on my hands to show you that is true. So the accessories that we're using, right now we're distributing with a lamp, but we're also working on a water purifier, and that's shown up there. It's based on a UV system, so it basically blasts all the bacteria. There are various issues with that, but we're hoping to work them out. And then we have hot plate, mini refrigerator, and of course, the ubiquitous mobile phone charger. All of the latter ones, aside from the lamp, are still currently in development. We're trying to keep on getting the best sort of design and cost effectiveness that we can. So the Socket is, as all of the products for Uncharted Play are, fun and functional. What does that mean? It means that there's a use in the home, so you have, as I mentioned, all of these applications with the water purifier, with the lamp, with the mobile phone charger, but it's also a really useful platform for education. A lot of the emails we get coming in every day are actually from teachers and from organizations saying, I really want to use your ball, not necessarily in my home, but to teach about concrete issues like energy, like the environment, and seeing how all these things are interrelated and how the ball touches upon all of these issues. But what we really hope, and what a lot of people are hoping with us, is that it can be a tool, a platform for addressing softer issues, like empowerment, thinking creatively, getting kids to dream, getting them to think about their community, thinking about teamwork, thinking about how you can apply your imagination to address issues in your own community. So, in conclusion, what I'd like to say, if everyone gets their own little 2 cents, whether that's to keep asking questions, my 2 cents are good enough is good enough. You only have to design for your user. You do not have to design for the highest end user. In our context, that meant designing for the resource-poor child. That meant it didn't have to be a perfect ball. And that meant that enough was only an improvement upon nothing. So I hope if you take one thing away, that's what it should be. And we have a lot of good media on our website, Soccket.com. It's the name of the ball, although we're currently going through a little bit of rebranding just to make sure it's a global audience. So we're thinking global. Does everyone like that? Right? Okay. Well, thank you very much.